Okay, so this is something I've wanted to talk about for a long time, ever since I saw the live-action Jungle Book earlier this year. And I've always been a big fan of the animated Jungle Book, you know, the one from the 1960s, that I think everybody likes. You probably like it, right? I mean, I like it, so I hope you like it, because that's what we're going to be talking about. My name's Josh Taylor, this is Network 1901, and today we're going to be talking about why Mowgli is actually the villain in the Jungle Book.
Bringing you everything under the Disney umbrella. Network 1901.
Okay, so for this video, I'm only really going to use two different sources of material. The 1967 Walt Disney animated feature film, The Jungle Book, and the 2016 live-action film, The Jungle Book, directed by Jon Favreau. I know that there's the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling, and there's several other adaptations. We're not going to count those. The first reason I think that Mowgli is the culprit, the villain here, is because he's raised by wolves. He's never been raised by man. He doesn't know what humans are. However, he has natural human instincts, natural human qualities. In the live-action version of the film, they call them tricks. In the animated version, they don't call them anything. But that's because he really doesn't do anything human, but it is implied that he could be dangerous because he is human. The reference to that is King Louie's song, I Want to Be Like You. King Louie wants to be the most dangerous person in the jungle. He wants to know how to make fire because he understands fire equals power, equals taking over and being the king of the jungle. Now, Mowgli doesn't know how to create fire because he's just a small child, but he could learn because he has human instincts. And because he can learn that, he can then have the power to become the king of the jungle and empower himself to be a dictator among the rest of the jungle animals. Now let's look at Shere Khan. He's portrayed as the villain in both the animated version and the live-action version of the film. But is he really the villain? Shere Khan portrays qualities of a Bengal tiger. It's what he is, it's what he does. Now, Shere Khan only kills because he needs to either A, eat, or B, out of survival's instinct. He only wants to kill Mowgli because he believes that Mowgli will eventually kill him. Also, in the live-action version of The Jungle Book, he goes to the watering hole to confront the wolves and Mowgli, and he completely obeys the law of the watering hole. Sure, he threatens, but he never hurts or kills anyone at the watering hole, which is an animal no-no. No-no? What am I, my mom? But we can also compare Mowgli and Shere Khan because Mowgli's raised by wolves, which are a predatory animal just like the Bengal tigers. Now, they would be killing animals because they need to either eat or out of fear for survival, just like Shere Khan. So you have to understand that wolves raising a young human boy would teach him to kill other animals for food and or survival. One of the things that Mowgli does in the live-action version of The Jungle Book that I think went under the radar, but I saw and thought it was one of the most devastating scenes in the entire film. When Mowgli and Baloo are hanging out, Baloo asks him to do him a favor in climbing up the side of a cliff to get honey so that Baloo can eat. Now, instead of doing something that a natural jungle animal would do, in the sake of eating what they need and then leaving the rest alone, Mowgli decides to cut down all of the honeycombs so that he no longer has to climb the cliff. Now, because he took down all of the honeycombs, the bees are no longer going to stay, and in that moment, he's ruining the ecosystem of the jungle. We see this even more at the climax of the film, both in the animated and live-action versions of The Jungle Book, when fire comes into play. In the animated version, lightning strikes and he gathers branches that are on fire. As a way to deflect Shere Khan, he ties the burning branches to his tail. Now, even though it gets rid of Shere Khan because Shere Khan is afraid of the fire, Shere Khan is running through a drought-ridden jungle. And even though we don't see it on camera, Shere Khan is probably going to set fire to somewhere in the jungle, meaning that there's going to be some sort of deforestation within the jungle, something Shere Khan had feared since the very beginning. In the live-action version of the film, we actually see that come to fruition when Mowgli uses the fire against Shere Khan, but instead sets the jungle ablaze. In setting the jungle on fire, he not only is killing some animals, but also ruining the ecosystem and the homes and habitats of all kinds of animals. It could take decades or even hundreds of years before the jungle is back to the way that it was previous to Mowgli living there. The scary part of all this is that Mowgli doesn't do any of this with bad intentions. In fact, he doesn't even know he can do a majority of the things that he's doing. Now, if we look at a movie like Bambi, where a hunter comes into the forest and starts killing animals, that's a whole different story. And yes, Mowgli doesn't have those bad intentions, and he doesn't really want to kill anyone. However, he has the ability and the power to. And if he wanted to change his mind and have bad intentions, he could bring serious, serious devastation to the jungle around him. So hopefully I've changed your mind a little bit and you'll look at the Jungle Book slightly differently. Or maybe you'll disregard everything that I've said and you'll go back along your merry way and enjoy the Jungle Book like you always did. I don't know, I'm just a guy with good intentions, not bad intentions. But let me know in the comments below what you think of Mowgli and what you think of the Jungle Book. Who is the villain within the film and who's the hero? Because it could go so many different ways. And maybe there's no hero or villain at all. It's just a story. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Mowgli is the hero, the villain? Is Shere Khan the hero? Is he the villain? Is there no hero or villain? Why is my voice this high? I don't know. Is it just a story? Are there no heroes or villains? Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Jungle Book, either the animated or live action, or both. Before we end this video, I just want to say thank you to Tony, who is a brand new patron on Patreon. His name is probably right here, right now, in giant bold letters, because I said if you buy into a certain package, you get a shout out. So thank you, Tony, for being a patron on Patreon. You can also check out all the other patrons that we have in the info box, description box, doobly-doo thing down below. And thank you guys for being patrons. Thank you guys for watching our videos. Thank you guys so much for just clicking on this and liking it. That'd be great. I'm talking too much, so bye. Take care. Bye.